Beautiful day here at the North Carolina Democratic Party State Executive Committee meeting. But tell people who you are, first of all.
All right, I'm Amanda Fitzpatrick. I am the communications director for the North Carolina Democratic Party. So, yes, I'm the comms director for the NC Dems.
Well, give people an idea behind the scenes what you do on a day to day basis, because I know they don't know.
So that's like the biggest running joke amongst my friends and my family because I used to be on TV.
Right.
So they don't get it. Like they don't understand what I do. So they're always like, "So what do you do again, Mandy?" My mom calls me like at least once a week. I'm trying to explain it to people, but I don't know how to explain it. I'm like, I do everything, mom. But we have this running joke about it. But I kind of came up with the way, our party is the road that candidates, drive on so they can get elected. Like that's how we help support the Democrats. But in my role as a communications director, I start off with helping our chair, Anderson Clayton. Right. So I schedule her interviews, I get media interviews, I get her on TV, radio, do the bookings. I also send out press releases to get the media to cover our press conferences. I plan the press conferences and coordinate them as well, of course, as a team. And then I help with the vice chairs. And then there are the legislative people, right? Yeah. They have their comms, but I work with them a lot because they're speaking at our events. And then there's the candidates, the people that are running for office. So I support them. And let's not forget the county chairs or the, third vice chairs of the counties. They might have a crisis or they may have a question or they may need media coverage. I've had county chairs reach out and they didn't know how to get the media to their event or their press conference. So I'll help research who their media is, help them get in touch with them, do prep. So I do a lot of different things. And then our AOCs, like as well, our caucuses. Wow. So, and that's just like, I think the tip of the iceberg, but that's the best way to explain it.
Wow, and that is a lot. And I don't think people have any idea just the breadth. Right. You just named a whole lot of different parties. Yeah. Yeah. So, how do you stay focused with all of what's going on, knowing that you're the comms person and what you say to other people and how you tell them to go execute this way, how that matters? How do you pull it off?
Well, I think it's important that I listen to people and I like to gain the trust of people. So, when we receive calls about the closures at, North Carolina A&T, they closed the voting sites there with the State Board of Elections. It was on our radar. We had been working on doing a press conference. We couldn't do it because of the snow, but people didn't know that. But they trusted me enough to call and say, what are you guys doing about this? And are you guys doing something about it? And I was able to say, we did have something scheduled. The snow allowed us not to do it, but we've got something coming up. And I'm able to immediately work with the digital team, hey, let's get some information up on the website. So that I do that too with the social media posts. I can assist with some of the messaging that goes out, making sure there's an actual strategy. Like we've got to hit the social media. We've got to get Anderson on some interviews. So I was able to reach out to, I'll just tell you, I reached out to Newsline, CBS. She was on WTVD. We did 5 interviews in 24 hours.
Wow.
And I'm not only calling to book those interviews and pitch the story, but I'm also on the call with her, listening to her as she's stating facts, telling the reporters what's going on. Anderson is our, when I think about messaging, she's our messenger. She does a lot of good interviews and she's able to tell people what's happening. And when she talks, people listen. So that there's that. And then we have the content package, which you sign up for that on NCDP.
Email. You get it in an email.
Yes, you get in an email. So, I work on writing that, and the digital team, they make it come alive. They, make it look beautiful. They add additional topics. We've got Rob and KJ and Kayla, who's a digital director, to put together graphics for people to be able to put that out because not everyone knows how to write a newsletter. So you can just use that. So, but to your point, it is important to find ways to balance it all because, just coming down here yesterday, it was like I was doing those interviews we talked about. And then people texted me, we've changed it around. We set up a press conference February 12th. We're going to do a press conference, matter of fact, about the State Board of Election closures at A&T and UNCG. So setting that up, going to New York because Anderson's going to be on Abby Phillips. I'm not sure when this is going to be published.
We got to stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned on Monday. It's ever evolving. And then the ARP, we're putting something in their bulletin. So all of this came down before 2:00, and I started to drive down here. So but that I'm just one person. Everyone's day is like that, and they're different, capacity because everyone has different roles. But they are nonstop working from 7 in the morning to sometimes 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. And it's interesting, I'll say this because sometimes you hear people say, well, y'all aren't doing this and y'all aren't doing that. And I'm thinking to myself, you have no idea how hard these people are working.
Bags. You know, and a lot of it too, you have to think strategy. You know, we can't jump every time something hits national news. There's sometimes things come out that's not true. There's sometimes things that come out that we need to look more into. And so a lot of it is strategy, and we have to be aligned and on the same page. You know, we have to make sure that as Democrats, we're a big tent party. Everyone in the party has to be on the same page because we're going up against, as we know, you know, some people that, you know, aren't doing the best for everyone in the country. So we have to be strategic. We can't all just do whatever we want to do whenever we want to do it. So that's why as a party, we're always making sure that we're looking at all of the factors, and then that when we do come out and speak, we're all on the same page and we're unified. And that's what's important with messaging.
It is. And I think you touched on something else when you said it's all about strategy, because sometimes you have to be concerned if we get out there and pull together some 5 bulleted lists and a video in response to something that's negative. Maybe we've just helped that negative thing become more of something that people are going to hear about and read about and learn about, instead of the issues that we really want them to focus on. So
and you hit it on the nail. You know, I won't go into detail, but there's been at least 2 or 3 instances where I've gotten calls and people are like, I can't believe this is happening. And I go to look and I'm like, okay, technically one person saw it on X. It seems like it was a lot because, and I want to say this for people that are watching this and you're maybe a candidate, you may be someone who's already in a position and you're like, you know, I'm getting beat up by the opposition or I'm being, you know, torn out. That's where I can come in as a crisis communications expert and help you with that. But sometimes it's good to just ignore it because when you do share it or you do have a statement to it, then it takes a mind of its own. Then it could get picked up by someone else. So there's sometimes we like to sit back and wait and just say, you know what, we're gonna let this blow over. The truth will come out, and it usually does.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the red carpet. This was great.
Yes, they're on Bull City, baby.